up, ladies and gentlemen? Universal Mastery. Welcome back to my public YouTube channel. In today's video, we have a very important topic that we're going to be discussing, and this has everything to do with the effects of common religious trauma that it is that you may have experienced if you grew up in a religious household or had religious parents or grew up around people that were very religious. This is going to be a very in-depth video breakdown of some of the effects that this degree of religious trauma can absolutely have on you and how it can literally shift your entire perception on life itself and who you are, and how that can affect, everything it is that you experience, once again, in your everyday life. So this is what I'm going to be discussing in today's video, coming from a perspective of someone who has been through a lot of different religious trauma in my own life experience. This is me sharing from personal experience. So if you are interested in learning a lot more about this specific subject at hand, then I highly recommend that you stay tuned, and I will see you on the other side. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's get right into the topic at hand here. Okay, so when it comes to religious trauma, this is something that is extremely significant, and it has a significant effect on the person that goes through this degree of trauma. Okay, so one of the biggest effects of religious trauma is some of the stuff that we see that is connected to the Bible. And just to start off, this is not a video where I'm, throwing any form of judgment or shame to anyone who is religious in general. Obviously, there are many people that are able to use religion in a healthier, integrated way, and that is always a beautiful thing. But at the same end of that token, there's also a lot of people that misuse these religious principles and sort of use it in a way to further build up abusive patterns within the system. And that is where a lot of people end up going through religious trauma and end up honestly living lives that are really sad lives to live because of some of these indoctrinations that come through this religious system. So this could be any form of religion. It doesn't really matter what it is. I come from a personal belief that religion largely is, designed to sort of limit the consciousness of the person who is a follower of the religion. Now, not everyone has to agree with me on that, but that is something that I personally believe based on my observations and my understandings of most religious texts. I think a lot of these different religions literally are anti-nature, meaning they kind of wire you or program you to go against natural instincts or natural intuitions. So that's my personal perspective. But once again, religious trauma, what is one of the most significant forms of religious trauma that manifests within a person who is, influencing themselves with religion, whether it's coming from an outside source or whether this is something that you're choosing to do on your own. Okay, so here's one of the first principles of, I would say inappropriate belief system. When it says God is not of this world, and that you are supposed to live a holy and a righteous life so that you may be saved by Jesus Christ to then be able to make it into the gates of heaven after death, this is something that is so dangerous. And the reason why it is because what this does is it programs you to not live a life that you truly have the potential of living. And it wires you to feel like the world that you live in is not good, that it is all bad. So when we look at this text that says God is not of the world, and you should not be of the world as well, but rather you should focus on living your life in a holy, just type of way, so that then you can be saved by Jesus once again and make it into the afterlife of heaven. Okay, I'm all for having a healthy lifestyle. I'm all for treating people with respect, treating people the way that you would want yourself to be treated. I mean, that is real. And that's how these energetic principles truly do manifest, as within, as without. Everything is truly connected by the same source energy, which means everything is a reflection of self. So what you do to your neighbor is also what you are doing to you, and what your neighbor does to you is what they are doing to themselves. I'm all for that. But when we look at a belief system that then says God is not of this world, the first thing that's already off about that is that this world, this earth, is absolutely a part of God, or is absolutely a part of the source consciousness. Whether you want to use the word God or use the word source, it doesn't really matter. But once again, the source is absolutely a part of this world. This world, this earth, is a manifestation as well of that same source energy. So when we're in this belief system that says God is not of this world, what does that wire a person to believe? It wires a person to believe that this world that we live in, this mass collective consciousness of human beings, is a evil place or is a bad place, and you should not take part in it. And it literally almost wires you that you should not enjoy your life here on earth. Okay, I want you to really pay attention to the subtleties of how these scriptures actually can influence people on a very deep level to not live lives that they actually feel good about, because they're believing that God is not of this world, and that you should not be happy in this world or in this society or in this collective or as a human being. Because if you are, then you are sinning and you are going against one of God's major principles of not being of this world. When I personally believe, and what I completely understand, is that that is not true, and that is absolutely not authentic. Okay, so once again, this world is absolutely just as connected to God as God is a reflection of all things, is a reflection of the source. So why would this source consciousness that created this world, that created society and created human beings to live on it, why would it say we can't experience a life that it is that we truly want to on this planet? Why would it say that this source energy is not a part of this world when it literally created this world? How does that even make sense? That's like having a kid that is of your own bloodline and then saying that kid is not of your bloodline. That's anti-nature there. It goes against the cosmic law of all things truly being connected. And I believe it wires people to not live lives of happiness or of inner satisfaction, or, living out the purpose and knowing that as you do that, you can feel good about your human existence. Because once again, if my God says I'm not of this world, that's already wiring me to see this world as a bad place or as an evil place. And then what that's going to do is that's going to turn on all these different protective mechanisms within my nervous system that are causing me to see threats all around me, because God said that this world is not of him. And that means that there's a bunch of evil going on. That means that there must be a lot of corruption. That means that Satan must be lurking in the shadows waiting to take advantage of me, when in reality, that's not the case at all. God is the source that connects all things, even the darker energies, even the demonic realm, what people refer to as Satan, which is really a representation of the negative polarity, that is also connected to God or to the source energy. So why would we live on a planet where we can't experience this planet in our fullness? Why would we live in a collective consciousness within this world and we can experience this to our fullness? Why can we not have nice things? Why can we not honor our process of healing trauma and what's going on an internal level with vulnerabilities and feeling sensations and emotions, and then letting go of the need to have these crazy protective barriers and mechanisms in our system that keep us from really living the life that we really want to, right? So that right there is my first, perspective on this principle of God is not of this earth, and in order to be saved, you must not be of this earth as well. I think that literally is anti-nature, because you've incarnated here as a soul onto earth, right? So how are you not of this earth if you incarnated here on this planet? You absolutely are of this planet within this incarnation. So it's just contraindicated and it's contradictory. And it leaves a lot of people confused, and I truly do believe it hurts a lot of people on a more subtle level that causes them to not pursue deeper intuitive guidance within self, as well as feeling like they deserve to live a life that's worth living. There's a lot of people that are borderline suffering that are just waiting to kind of pass away at some point, because then they get to experience happiness in the afterlife. What kind of crazy belief system is that? What if, hypothetically, right? What if there is no afterlife in the way that it's described? What if heaven, afterlife, and being saved by Jesus Christ isn't the actual meaning of what these things are representing? People are living their whole lives kind of cycling in these patterns of trauma and unhealed wounds, using excuses like, I am not of this world because God's not of this world, so I get to just kind of live this mediocre life, cycling in these patterns, not really addressing these deeper wounds in myself, and then feeling like I deserve to live a life where I'm actually happy, where I actually experience things that I want to. People are living that way, and they're doing that all the way up until the grave, right? And then when they die, they think that they're going to move into this beautiful heaven afterlife because they stayed loyal or they stayed true to some of the different principles that were placed in the Bible, like not being of this world. It's just a mind-blowing thing that people can mindlessly follow these principles and dedicate their entire life experience to these things. When if humans are being completely honest, there's a deeper intuitive knowing that that is not it. That is not true. We are cyclical beings. We are directly connected to nature. We go with ebbs and flows of these, processes of evolution. We know at our core that is not the truth. But some people are so hardwired to be attached to these belief systems because, once again, these belief systems are largely keeping at bay a lot of repressed things in regards to trauma, a lot of repressed emotions and memories, etc. And people don't want to face that. So they will live their lives in this mediocre state for the rest of their life and then pass away hoping that something's going to save them, when really they were supposed to save themselves and go inward and then heal these wounds and let go of these crazy beliefs. Okay? Now, obviously, this is a lot of information that I'm sharing with you, and this is just a lot, that I'm communicating up front right now, but take that into account. Just really sit with that and understand how much of an effect that really does have on someone's psyche and on someone's consciousness. Okay, principle number 2 of what you see in modern religion in our today's time. is you see this idea of God being the one and only God. Okay, so you have this idea that God, if we're talking about Christianity, it's either Jesus or Yahweh. If we're talking about other religions, it's other gods, right? We have this idea that God is this complete monotheistic, singular being, when in reality, once again, there is a source consciousness that does exist, that does connect all things. So there absolutely is a consciousness, and we could almost say an infinite light that literally connects all things, all the way from me to you, to your neighbor, to this desk that's sitting in front of me, to this microphone, to the camera, like everything, okay? So with that being said, though, that means we're all connected. Whatever entity you want to talk about, all the way from God to Satan, to Lucifer, to Hecate, to Lilith, to Archangel Michael and Gabriel, it's all connected to the same source energy. So when we look at religion, religion works with God as a monotheistic singular being, which says this is the one and only true God. So therefore your God or any other God is not actually God and is a demon or is an adversary to the truth. What does this do inside of the psyche of the person that is, working with this religious belief system? What this does is this wires a person to separate themselves from the world around them. This wires a person to say, I worship the one real God, and therefore other people, if they don't worship the same God that I worship, then they are not the same as me. They are not connected to me because I have the truth in regards to my belief system. So this wires a person to start viewing the world in a separate way as well as a dualistic way. So once again, if people don't believe my God, then that means they worship the devil, or that means they are demonic, or they are not in the truth, so to speak. And this causes a person to separate themselves from the world around them. There are very subtle yet powerful energetic effects that take place when someone adopts this type of belief system at a nervous system level. You have to understand that what takes place within your nervous system is an energetic resonance that then manifests externally into the environment, the world, and people and situations around you. So the simple adoption of a belief like this literally starts to orchestrate a reality where things get separated more, where duality becomes much clearer to see. You literally will step into a reality where you start seeing what it is that you're believing to manifest, but that doesn't make it authentic. That is just the principle of as within, as without. People think that that's God. They think that that's a supernatural thing when it's not. It's just the principles and the sciences of energetic resonance. If I choose to see connectedness with all things and understand the authenticity that we are all connected, which is the deepest reality, then I'm going to see a reality where all these things intermingle together, where we have the Christians and the Muslims and the Buddhists all coming together, the atheists all coming together. I'm going to create a reality where that actually presents itself. And then the same in return, if I'm a Christian and I believe that God, Yahweh, is the only God and everything else isn't real but is a false God, now I'm creating a reality where people are starting to get separated, and the Christians are over here and everyone else is over here, and it's basically like a battle of good versus evil, when in reality that was never the truth. It was never the case. This is how powerful religious trauma can be, and how this stuff affects the nervous system. And obviously, when it comes to my true core belief with religion and how I believe it was designed to be manipulative, if you are someone that plays a role in governing the mass collective consciousness and you want to control consciousness, this is one of the most powerful ways to do it, by implementing a belief system that people can adopt that is said to be the truth, that inherently separates humans from other humans, that separates people from that source connection or that source consciousness. Now you can be manipulated, okay? And it's not to say that there isn't power within the name of Jesus, or there isn't power within Christianity as a whole, or the religion itself. These are energies that are powerful. You know, the Christ consciousness literally is the consciousness of what I'm communicating now. This is the real, authentic Christ consciousness. But what the Bible does is it likes to manipulate a lot of these truths, and it manipulates it in such a way that it goes against nature. It goes against the intuition. It goes counter to what actually is. And that's where these manipulation cues get so deep and hooked into your system, because there's aspects of it that you're seeing that are real, but then there's a deeper core of it that is not. It is leading you in the wrong direction, or a false understanding to further worship your false self. And that has energetic effects. At the end of the day, everything is governed by karma. There really is the law of cause and effect. And at some point, if you adopt those belief systems, you will see that come to the surface, especially if you're promoting it around separating people from people, and you are righteous, other people aren't righteous, etc. Okay, so these are definitely things to look at and things to consider there. But that is one of the other biggest principles that shows up within religion that really damages people to such a high degree. You know, the idea that there is only one real God, when the truth is all energies are connected to the same source. Everything, Yahweh, Jesus, Satan, Lucifer, you name it, it's all connected to the same source energy, and it all works together. If it was truly evil, then why would it exist? If it was truly Satan and that's bad, then why would it exist? Why would this energy of God create something like that? Which is not true. It's all connected to the same source, and everything plays its role. Yes, there are polarities between things. There is a positive pole, there's a negative pole, there's a yin, a yang, a masculine, a feminine. That is true. But it doesn't mean that one is evil and one is good. This is indoctrination, and that influences so many people to not understand themselves and to create separation when there doesn't need to be separation, and that only hurts the person who's doing it. I'm speaking from personal experience. I used to be a strong Christian who had these beliefs, and I saw how that then manifested in my everyday life. You know, I was a genuine person. I would always hold space for people that had different belief systems from me. But if I'm being honest, subconsciously, I saw other people that didn't believe what I believed at the core as being demonic, as if there was evil behind them. And that's why they weren't able to believe in the truth of what the belief system says, right? So over time, when I undid all of that stuff and I really allowed it to let go, and then I embraced the complete opposite pole, that was how I really was able to work with those depths of my shadow and feel those repressed emotions and revisit these traumas from the past and release these things and dissolve these things so that they don't have to be there anymore. And now I have a much more open perspective on how all of these things truly do come together, and it offers so much more value in my everyday life. I get to live happier. I get to feel more satisfied and more safe in my everyday life because I'm not always scanning for things that could potentially be threats and things that are bad and are evil, etc. So considering this is key. Now, the final principle that it is that I really want to go into with this video is the idea of God being a man. Okay, this is another component that sort of blows my mind that more people don't see. So when people talk about God in religion, they always refer to God as a he, a him, a man. And this blows my mind because it's like, where's the her? Where's the she? Where's the woman? Where's the mother? You know, the mother is literally one of the deepest keys of understanding the unconscious mind, because we were all birthed from the mother's void, from the dark feminine womb. We all came out of our mothers. And it's not to discredit our father. Of course, the father is very significant, just as significant. But why are we not including the woman? Why are we not including the feminine, the divine, primal, dark feminine? This is what I also refer to as one of these manipulation tactics within mainstream religion, because the primordial feminine is the essence of our unconscious. When you look at the night sky at night and you see all darkness, and then you see stars, and then you see planets, that all of that is held in that dark matter space, right? The dark matter, the dark mother, that darkness, that is the dark primordial feminine that holds the light. The light was birthed from that womb, so to speak, or from that void. So if we don't have focus on this primordial feminine energy, and God has to be a he or a him, then what we're doing is we are separating ourselves from our own core of our feminine energy, our feminine connection. Feminine energy has to do with receptivity, letting go, trusting the process, feeling the emotions and sensations. These are some of the absolute keys in order to heal repressed things that exist in the nervous system. When it comes to trauma, we have to embrace feminine energy to allow ourselves to healthily integrate and process these wounds and nurture these wounds, so that then we can step into more of an authentic self of who we actually are. So if we don't have the feminine and we look to God as being this masculine man, then we are only isolating one of the polarities, and we're completely, in some regards, demonizing the other. I mean, think about the whole story of Adam and Eve, and how Eve is the one that ate the apple. Eve's the one that got Adam to eat the apple, leading the man into sin, right? So why is this belief system sort of wiring us to see the woman as bad or as sinful or as wrong, when in reality what that does to us as the observer is it starts a process where we then demonize our own feminine energy, and we may not know we're even doing that. We start to attribute what the woman means to us and see it as sinful in nature, and then we shut off abilities to be more receptive. We shut off abilities to feel our emotions more, because that's wrong, especially if it's negative emotions. We shut those things down, we bear those things down, and then it builds up in our system and then projects into our everyday lives from the shadow, from the unconscious. Now we become vessels of just spewing out poisonous, toxic, negative energy, and we don't even know we're doing it because we're repressing this aspect of our being that is more feminine in nature. Okay, we're repressing these darker energies in our system because we think it's wrong, or we think it's bad, we think it's evil, we think it's something that God wouldn't want us to do. And we find ways to try to justify that. We find unhealthy coping mechanisms to try to attach to not facing these parts of ourselves, or these aspects of ourselves. But then it only builds, and then it projects, and it, in many ways, it destroys us. And it destroys our lives until we surrender to it. And then we dissolve all of these things that are not really a part of who we truly are. So that is that final principle that is important to understand. God is both masculine and feminine. God is in it. It is not a he, it is not a her, it is all of it. It is masculine and feminine. It is beyond our ability to even understand what is outside of man and woman. It is beyond polarity. It is beyond duality. That is what the truest essence of God is. And there's really not even words to fully explain that or to express that in a grounded way. That's how significant this energy actually is. So when we approach it from that lens, we now have more of an ability to honor our masculine energy and our feminine energy. And once again, see things from a lens of more connectedness between men and women as a whole, and understand that these energies do function in different ways, but they function together in a harmonious way as well. Just like within every man, there's going to be feminine energy, and within every woman, there's going to be masculine energy. And together, man and woman, we can come together and create a child. We can actually birth something into existence, which is extremely unique. And we wouldn't be able to do that without the biological difference of the masculine and the feminine polarity working harmoniously together. So why demonize the feminine? Why demonize the woman and only venerate the masculine? And then create an idea in our mind that God is male, when that is not true at all. God is male and female and beyond that. Okay, so this is what it is that I really wanted to communicate in our today's video. Hopefully you're able to hear some of these things that I'm talking about, and you can allow these things to actually soak in so that you really can use it in your everyday life. And if you've been through these different forms of religious trauma, hopefully this video gave you some room to see these things, and then allow yourself to choose to let go of these beliefs or let go of these ideologies and go deeper into yourself, deeper into the core to process what needs to be processed. All right, so with that being said, if you got value from this, definitely make sure you hit the thumbs up button. That would be very much appreciated, and it lets me know that you got value from this. Drop down into the comment section and let me know what your perspective is on religious trauma itself. If you've specifically been through it, I would love to hear your own personal perspective on that matter. So drop into the comment sections there and let me know. Hit the notification bell and get notified whenever I post, because I'm literally posting every other day and you don't want to be missing out. There's tons of valuable stuff that it is that I'm speaking about. Also subscribe to the channel, because by subscribing, you are further energetically connecting to everything it is that I'm teaching, so you want to take advantage of it. If you know someone that would gain value from this, copy and paste the link to this video and send it to that person as well. I highly encourage you to do that. And also take advantage of the services that I have in the description below. The first link is the most important one. That is my Patreon. On my Patreon, I have exclusive content only for the Patreon members. Over 260 plus videos. There's over 1,000 plus members that are actively signed up to the Patreon itself, which speaks for itself. Tons of valuable content on occult education, understanding Kabbalah and the initiatory process, nervous system regulation, creating a healthy foundation for yourself to support that, more education on trauma. All of these different valuable subjects are over on the Patreon, so definitely look into that. Tier number 3 and 4 gives you access to something extremely unique. This is what's called the Universe B Vampire Ritual Service, and this is a ritual service that I perform on the participants. It is an energetic transfer from me to you to help support you through some of the deepest layers and aspects of working with your own shadow and working with some of the darkest aspects of your unconscious, to be able to surface those things and understand how to process them and then release them, and then become more one with this darker energy inside of yourself, but also in the world around you. It creates a magnetic effect that allows you to pull in energy from dark matter energy as well as chaos, and be able to work with it in a much healthier way, from a much more grounded place as well. And it can even get to the point where you naturally see your energetic field pulls out the false self from other people, turns it into your own power, and then leaves that person in a position where they now have to face their own shadow or face things inside of themselves that they've been repressing. Okay, This is the Universe B Vampire Ritual Service. Everyone that's a participant also gets entered into an Atlantean crystal grid, which is an extremely advanced grid that I've created that supports this whole energetic process. And it even has a torus field sitting in the center that projects frequencies that I play into, or onto, I should say, the participants that are inside of that grid. And it creates this structure, a real energetic structure around the people inside of the grid in their everyday lives. It is a very powerful tool to take advantage of. So if this is something that you're interested in, once again, there are over 350 active participants signed up for this ritual service that is performed on the 29th of every single month. The deadline to sign up is the day before, which is the 28th. Anytime before then, you can sign up and take advantage of this ritual service. So if you're interested in it, look into it. It is the first link below. We'll leave it there. Now at the second link below, this is where you can book a one-on-one call with me. If you're interested in any of the things that I'm talking about and you want to personally pick my mind, or if you want to share with me a little bit more about your life experience, I would love to connect with you in that way. And this is also where you can book mentorships with me. So I have a 6-week mentorship and I also have a 3-month mentorship. And this is literally the most intimate way to personally work with me. And we're going to be going very, very deep together, creating a healthy foundation for you that honors nervous system regulation. It honors working through repressed emotions and healing trauma. And then it leads you to a point where if you're interested, we can start getting into some of the occult aspects of self-development in regards to Kabbalah initiation. So if that's something that you're interested in, definitely look into it. This is all within the second link below. We'll leave it there. Now also in the same second link, you can book a tarot card reading with Alexia. She's a very gifted tarot card reader. She can pinpoint what is going on in your life on an internal level and what you need to better understand to align with your process. Then she can tell you what to expect moving into the near future and what's most likely going to be taking place, while also connecting it back to the Kabbalistic tree to give you extra perspective on some of these things that are going on. Okay, so second link below is where you can book that reading with Alexia. Third link below is called the LUCIFERS Foundation course. This is a very powerful course. If you're looking to develop a healthy relationship with Lucifer, it gives you step-by-step structures to follow with 11 modules that you will have access to for literally the rest of your life. So definitely consider that. Okay, third link. Fourth link is the YouTube memberships. I would love to have you a part of the YouTube community. It really is like a family, so definitely consider that at the fourth link. The fifth link is my book recommendations for you. This is very powerful stuff. Everything that is absolutely foundational and fundamental when it comes to occultism. It is in this 4 ebook bundle that you will gain access to at the 5th link below. So definitely consider that as well if you're looking for materials to study and to have as tools. And then below that, I have a whole other section of different courses. Right now, I only have one course that's up there, and it's called the I've Been Cursed course. So if you're someone that has been cursed by another person or a group of people, and you are not understanding how to navigate the energy, and you're freaking out and you feel like your life is being torn apart from you, this course gives you the true fundamental understanding and education that you need to have to truly navigate that and release it from your life in a healthy way that will actually stay with you for the rest of your life. So if that's something that you're interested in, that is also in the description below. Okay, and I made that course due to popular demand. So with that being said, this is where we're going to wrap it up. I appreciate all of you very, very, very much, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace.